This is what's wild in New Hampshire, except for that I'm in Maine. I'm in Maine deer hunting. Let me introduce you to the Maine woods. There we are. Get my fingers out of the way. This is the Maine woods. Up here to deer camp. And deer camp is camp that in November becomes deer camp, a very special place. I've hunted these woods some 50 years or more. And they change. I mean, I have hunted places that have been logged off, and the trees that were left grew high enough to be logged off again. The woods change, but as a hunter, you learn the woods. You learn the woods. Up there, on top of the hill, maybe 300 yards away, a hill apparently, according to one of my aunts, who lives in town, was named after a relative. So I'm up there. My son-in-law is hunting this November day. You know, my mind's eye can quickly take me up there. I've hunted there many a times. My mind's eye would take me up there as if I was standing next to my son-in-law, seeing the same things he is seeing. I know those woods up there as I do these. And so many things to see right here. You can walk along and pull a spruce or fir twig off and give it a smell. That takes me right back to when I was 5 or 6 years old, living here in town, 5 years old, and the smell of the Christmas tree. Yes, walking into the living room and smelling the Christmas tree. Yes, I can reach out and pluck a branch and take me back 66 years right here. And what else do you see? Look up here. A hornet's nest. I wonder if anybody's home. I'm a wildlife biologist. I gotta check this out. Look at this nest. Anybody home? Hey! Oh, gee! No, just kidding. There are no wasps there, paper wasps. We've had a killing frost. When I talked to my aunt here in town a couple of days ago, we've had now 3 killing frosts. The dozens, or maybe dozens of paper wasps who lived in that nest are all dead. The killing frost has killed them, except for one, the queen who has survived and will be laying under some trees, bark, or a log or duff, and will survive to next spring. And paper wasp, what a cool animal! You know, it's the one wasp, the queen, that was ready to lay eggs this spring. So back in April, they can only move when it's above 50 degrees. Anything below 50 degrees, they can't fly, they can't move. And of course, below freezing, they're dead, except for the queen. So a queen started this nest back in April or May. And what is a paper wasp nest? They actually chew the fiber from trees around. I don't see any holes right here in any of these trees, but they sometimes make holes in trees. So one mouthful at a time, they mix it with their saliva and they make a nest. How many mouthfuls of wood and saliva was needed to make this giant nest? Oh, I'm in awe. And they only live 5 or 6 months. This is one summer's work, 4 or 5 months, building this nest. And then they're gone. They're all gone except for the queen. You know, wasps are cool animals. They help us. They eat insects and spiders and things that might, and flies and insects that might pester our gardens. So, a nice spot here. This road I'm on is an old tote road dating back, I think, 40 or more years. It hasn't been used in at least 40 years in my mind. Back to where it connects to the dirt road that leads to my camp back that way. The alders have grown in. And what's over this way? Let me take you to a place that I have known. This place has a name. That tree is called the buck tree. Things in the woods when you're a hunter and hunting with family and friends, get names. Why is it a buck tree? Because 2 years ago, I was at that tree, and I shot myself a nice 8-pointer that was on a full run chasing a doe down somewhere down there, and there was one lane to shoot and kill him on, and I did. It was a good shot, one of the better shots I've ever made. But it has given this tree its name, the buck tree. And when you hunt with a group of friends and family, you name things, Jim's stand or the sawdust pile. When I grew up in Londonderry back in the 60s and hunted, there were sawdust piles all through the woods, and we would let's meet at the sawdust pile, or let's meet at the fork, which might be a fork where 2 deer trails came together. So when you hunt in a place, you learn the woods. Unlike if you hike, I guess, a trail, and a lot of hikers I see are on a walk. They're moving. Hunters, every little piece of the woods you study. And what are you looking for? You're looking for the flick of a deer's ear. Or in a vertical woods, look at all these trees. They're all vertical except for a few horizontal. So you look for the horizontal things, which might be the back of a deer. So you study the woods. You learn the woods. You learn the deer trails. And when you jump a deer, where they go. And you might have a friend over there waiting for them. So yes, if you're a hunter, you learn the woods. And the woods constantly change. Yes, they are cut, and trees come down, and things happen. So every year is a new learning experience. But you learn the woods. You don't just go to the woods. If you're a hunter, you learn the woods. That, I think, is the difference between a hiker and a hunter. We learn the woods. And we think about things like a paper wasp's nest. And think about them all summer long, building that nest, only to die, but leaving the most important member of that colony, the queen, who could be hibernating under my buck tree. She might be right there right now, will not die. And by the way, the paper wasps, they don't sleep. They're in the nest at night, tending to the young and fixing the nest. So they go 4 or 5 months without sleeping. That's what they do. And then a killing frost kills them. Yes, paper wasps, an awesome, awesome creature. So much to learn in the woods, in the hunting woods. So much to learn in the hunting woods. This is wildlife biologist Eric Hoare for What's Wild in New Hampshire.